Ketu in the third house of a natal chart is a profound positioning that deals with the intersection of the intellect, communication, and the inherent courage of the individual. In Vedic astrology, Ketu represents liberation, detachment, and past life mastery, while the third house governs siblings, short travels, manual skills, and the vikrama or prowess of the person. When the south node of the moon resides here, it creates a personality that is often quiet on the surface but incredibly sharp and experienced within. The silent intellectual. Ketu in the third house suggests that the native has already mastered the art of communication and logical processing in previous incarnations. As a result, there is often a distinct lack of interest in small talk or superficial social interactions in this life. You might find that you possess a natural, almost intuitive grasp of information, but you don't feel the need to broadcast it. This can make you appear detached or even aloof to others. Your mental processing doesn't follow a linear path. Instead, it is often erratic or highly spiritual. While others are laboring over the how-to of a task, you likely already understand the core essence of it. This can lead to a silent genius complex where you have profound insights but struggle, or simply lack the motivation, to explain your reasoning to those around you. Siblings and the social sphere. The third house is traditionally the house of younger siblings. With Ketu here, the relationship with siblings can be characterized by a sense of distance, either physical or emotional. There may be a feeling that you and your siblings belong to different worlds, or there could be a lack of support from them. In some cases, the native may be an only child or feel like one. This detachment extends to your immediate neighborhood and peer groups. You are likely the person who lives on a street for 10 years without knowing the names of your neighbors. This isn't out of malice, but rather a deep-seated feeling that these mundane connections do not serve your soul's higher purpose. You prefer the company of your own thoughts or the pursuit of deep, esoteric knowledge over the backfence gossip of the third house. Courage, skills, and the power of the hands. One of the most fascinating aspects of this placement is the hidden courage. The third house is the house of initiative. Ketu here can make a person appear timid or hesitant to take risks initially. However, when pushed into a corner or faced with a crisis, you may display an unsettling, cold-blooded bravery. Because Ketu has no head, your actions in high-pressure situations are often instinctive rather than calculated. Furthermore, the third house represents the hands. Ketu here can grant unique manual dexterity or a talent for technical skills that feel remembered rather than learned. You might be naturally gifted at writing, playing an instrument, or intricate craftsmanship, yet you may treat these talents with a shrug of indifference. For you, the skill is just a tool, not an identity. The shadow side, mental restlessness. The challenge of Ketu in the third house is a specific type of mental isolation. Because your mind operates on a different frequency, you may experience bouts of intense anxiety or a feeling of being misunderstood by the world. There is a risk of becoming too caught up in your internal world, leading to a neglect of the necessary administrative tasks of life. Emails go unanswered, documents get lost, and appointments are forgotten. Since Rahu, the North Node, will be in the ninth house of higher wisdom and philosophy, your soul is being pulled away from the data of the third house and toward the meaning of the ninth. The third house Ketu is the storehouse of information you are meant to leave behind so you can pursue the broader, more expansive truths of the universe. Conclusion. Ultimately, Ketu in the third house is a call to move beyond the intellect and into the realm of faith. You are someone who has seen enough of the world's mechanics and is now looking for its soul. By acknowledging your natural skills without becoming attached to them, and by using your innate courage to explore higher philosophies, you turn a placement of detachment into a powerful foundation for spiritual growth. You are learning that while words are useful, the greatest truths are often found in the spaces between them. When Ketu occupies the third house, its flavor is heavily dictated by the zodiac sign it inhabits. Since Ketu is a headless planet, it takes on the qualities of the sign's ruler while adding a layer of detachment or past life expertise to that specific energy. Fire signs, the internalized spark. Aries, courage is instinctive but quiet. You may have been a warrior in a past life, so in this one, you find physical competition or aggression a bit redundant. You possess a sharp, cutting way of speaking that you often choose to suppress. Leo, there is a detachment from the need for intellectual validation or fame through your skills. You might be a talented writer or speaker who shuns the spotlight, preferring to let your work exist without your ego attached to it. Sagittarius, Ketu is very comfortable here. You possess an innate understanding of high philosophy, making mundane education feel boring. You communicate like a sage, often speaking in parables or abstract concepts that bypass small talk entirely. Earth signs, the detached craftsman. Taurus, you have a natural talent for managing resources or artistic endeavors with your hands, but you don't feel possessive over what you create. You may be indifferent to the financial rewards of your communication skills. Virgo, this creates a hyperanalytical mind that is exhausted by its own brilliance. You can spot a flaw in a plan instantly, yet you might feel a strange apathy toward fixing it, as if you've already solved these puzzles 1,000 times before. Capricorn, professional communication and networking are approached with a cold, clinical efficiency. You can climb the social or corporate ladder easily, but you often feel like an actor playing a role rather than a participant. Air signs, the silent intellectual. Gemini, Ketu is in its own intellectual home here, which can make you incredibly brilliant but scattered. You might master multiple languages or technical skills effortlessly and then abandon them once the mystery is gone. Libra, your detachment manifests in your social circles. You are the friendly ghost, present in the group, charming and balanced, yet no one truly knows what you are thinking. You seek a deeper harmony than mere conversation can provide. Aquarius, your mind is tuned to the future or the unconventional. You communicate in zaps of insight. You might be drawn to eccentric hobbies or fringe groups, yet you remain an outsider even within those circles. Water signs, the intuitive communicator. Cancer, your communication is deeply tied to your emotions, yet you may find it difficult to express your feelings through words. You often rely on a psychic connection with siblings and neighbors rather than actual dialogue. Scorpio, this is a powerful, shamanic placement. Your words have the power to heal or destroy, but you usually choose silence. You have a profound ability to investigate secrets, often knowing the truth of a situation without being told. Pisces, here, Ketu is at its most spiritual. Your logic is entirely replaced by intuition. You may struggle with the hard facts of the third house, preferring to communicate through art, music, or spiritual silence. While the natal placement of Ketu in the third house describes a lifelong temperament, the transit of Ketu through the third house, which lasts approximately 18 months, represents a specific season of life focused on clearing karmic clutter from your immediate environment and mental habits. In Vedic astrology, Ketu's transit through the 3rd, 6th, and 11th houses from the moon or ascendant is generally considered favorable, but its favor often comes through a process of shedding what no longer serves you. The great mental decluttering. The third house is the engine room of our daily lives. It handles the logistics, the constant stream of information, and the busyness of our routines. When transiting Ketu enters this space, it acts like a cosmic vacuum. You may find that your interest in social media, gossip, or staying up to date with every piece of news suddenly evaporates. Psychologically, this is a period of mental simplification. If you have been overthinking or suffering from information overload, Ketu provides a much-needed mute button. The noise of the world softens, allowing you to realize that you don't actually need to know everything to be effective. This transit often marks a shift from horizontal learning, knowing a little about a lot, to vertical depth, knowing the essence of one thing. Shift in effort and ambition. The third house is the house of Upachaya, growth, and Vikrama, valor. Traditionally, Ketu here can actually increase your courage because it removes the fear of the head. During this transit, you might find yourself taking bold risks that you would have agonized over previously. However, the nature of your efforts changes. You might stop trying so hard in the conventional sense. There is a shift from forced, ego-driven hustle to a more flow-based way of working. You may experience a low-energy phase where you are disinterested in pushing for results, only to find that things fall into place more easily when you stop micromanaging the process. It is a time when less is more. Recalibrating connections, siblings and peers. Because the third house governs younger siblings and neighbors, Ketu's transit can create a fog or a distance in these relationships. It is not necessarily a time of conflict, but rather a time of emotional reevaluation. You may feel that you no longer speak the same language as your siblings or childhood friends. A sibling might go through a transformative or difficult phase that requires you to detach for your own peace, or you may simply find that your paths are diverging. This is a karmic settling of accounts where the frequency of your social circle is tuned to match your current spiritual vibration. People who no longer resonate with your path may quietly drift away during these 18 months. The power of the short journey. Transit Ketu in the third house often triggers sudden, unplanned, or spiritual short-distance travels. These aren't typically luxury vacations, they are more likely to be trips that serve a specific purpose or offer a moment of solitude. You might find yourself driving to a remote location just to be alone, or visiting a place of spiritual significance that you felt called to out of the blue. These journeys act as resets for your nervous system. Summary of the transit energy. The 18-month transit of Ketu through the third house is a masterclass in detachment from the mundane. It teaches you that speech is more powerful when used sparingly. Courage is most effective when it is quiet and ego-less. Intelligence is not about how much data you hold, but how much noise you can ignore. By the end of this transit, you will likely emerge with a much cleaner mind, fewer but deeper social connections, and a newfound ability to navigate life through intuition rather than just logic. Subscribe, like and share.